Hi guys, just want to review the importance of your project plan because this is the basis of the success of your whole project. And so what I gave you was an example independent project plan. And this is Miss Kaylee Hanson. She does great work for me here and she's really well organized. So it was a pretty easy thing to do, was to pull one of her plans just to show you what a plan looks like and why we do this. So just trust me here with the method to our madness. This type of development really works and it can help you keep from crashing and burning or running into those walls that are really difficult to navigate when you're working an independent project on your own. So first thing, you're going to download a blank one of these, and I'll show you where to go about that here in a minute. But you put your name and the date. This was one that Kaylee did for me when she was a sophomore. So she just tells me what kind of project she's going to do, and she has a specific learning target. So in a few sentences, she explains what she wants to do with her project. Simple, guys. That's what I want you to think about. And if you have a hard time focusing or narrowing, I will help you with that. But you do that. Then here's what's also important. And I guess this is the most important thing. It says, what technical resources will you be using? For example, software, hardware, and your guiding learning sources. And I put websites, but what resources are you going to be using to drive your learning? Because remember, I'm not teaching you this. So you have to have resources to go somewhere you've never gone before. So what's important is, for example, if you're going to use Photoshop, you tell me you are going to need Photoshop as a software. Or if you're going to build something, the hardware you would need would be the items that you're going to use in that build. And if you're going to need any outside tools or any equipment, you have to come up with a list of that. But most importantly, you need resources that will guide you through the process. So literally, you're going to list them specifically. And what's really critical is you just can't find them and list them. You should evaluate them because I hold you accountable for those resources. What are they? How did you get them? Writing a search string here is important. So let's say I'm going to use Adobe Photoshop and I want to learn about brushes and I want to find specific tutorials for me. I would want to write a search string that looks sort of like this. Quotation mark, Adobe Photoshop. Well, let me just do it for you. So I would write a search string to help me get there. Remember that anything that's important I put in quotes. So I might do Adobe Photoshop CC, because that's the version of software we're going to use. Remember our bouillon terms, and brushes, and Mac, because believe it or not, the platform we run our software on is different. That software will run or look different when it runs on a PC versus a Mac. So you want tutorials that look like your operating system so you won't get lost. And tutorial. Okay, so notice now when I hit my return and I gather my information, I'm going to have some stuff. And now here's what's important. When I look at, maybe I even want to narrow my stuff down here. When I look at my tutorials, some of these are going to be clearly not what I want. How to install pattern in Photoshop or how to install brushes. I might want to learn that later. But maybe I want to clear that stuff out. So notice how I'm going to add my definition and maybe pull more stuff. Photoshop beginner's tutorial are changing brush size. And so some good basics, how to actually use a stamp tool or whatever I want to learn. So I'm going to choose to find tutorials that are going to help me in my process. But remember, I want you to go through the tutorial and see what's there. Is there complete information? Does it appeal to your learning style? For example, I like to hear people talk when they're showing me stuff. Some tutorials just have music and they show you stuff, and I don't do well with that. Based on how you perform, Find great tutorials, evaluate them, and list on your plan the ones you know you will use in your project, right? They should all be here. Don't write YouTube videos. They already find them. Also important, you should have a clear goal with your project. What are you going to learn here? And that should be clearly written. This is the hard part. See this week by week generated plan, and I'm going to give you those weeks on Tuesday when you return. But you should tell me what part of the project you're going to get done in the first week. And this is the tough part, how you're going to be accountable for that material. Do not put show dink, right? If you show up to that point and you have nothing for me to prove to me that you did this stuff, you are not where you should be. You can use screen capture, you can use photographs, you can use notes, you could use all kinds of digital tools, but you need to have proof that you did this stuff. That's what I mean by accountability. So take your big end project, put it into chunks, and show me how you're going to be accountable week by week by week. That is critical, accountability, right? So that's what we're going to develop. Okay, that's what we're going to develop. So on Tuesday when I see you, I want you to have an idea, and I will help kind of tune it in and see if it's a doable thing for us or for you within a 4-week project. Then I'll put you to work developing that plan and finding your resources and evaluating them. You will turn that into me on block day, and you'll have time to work on that. If I don't get to talk to you on Tuesday, I'll even give you an extra day. But I want to see that project plan. I won't give you the green light to go until it's well developed, okay? I guarantee it's an important thing. When you finish, and I'll explain this real quick, your project and how you're evaluated happens 2 ways. 1, week by week progress on your content and how you told me you were going to develop or get through your project. And 2, a showcase at the end that puts together everything. And you are not graded on the end product as much as you are on how you got there. So here's what you're graded on. First, you have to have a description of your project. Tell me about it. 2, you have to go through your plan week by week. How did you use your resources? What worked there? Were some resources better than others? Did you ever get behind? And if you did, how did you suck that up and move forward? Did you have any points that you ran into a wall? How did you solve that? You cover that sort of thing here. This is the big one, mastery of technology or learning. You have to show me what you learned in some aspect. So let's say you're showing me something in Photoshop. You have to have a live demonstration of aspects of that learning. For example, you showing me how you cut items out. You showing me how you actually correct a raster graphic. Something. Now you can do that live. I have some kids are really good at that, like Chris Mullen. He's great at a live demonstration. You could also do it where you screen capture and you talk through it. Or you screen capture and then during your presentation, you talk through that. You have lots of options, but this is the most important part of our evaluation. You need to show me what you made, but notice that's only one small part of what you're graded on. And lastly, at the end, you give me a reflection. If you could do things over again, what would you know now that you would adjust when you did the project again? And that's really important. For example, you might have learned when you were using a green screen that you should have lit it better, or that when you filmed people with the green screen, you should not put them in the colors blue or green because those pixelate more easily than, for example, the color red. Okay, so those are important items. And this is how you're going to be graded. But we're not so much worried about that right now, and that's okay, but I just wanted to show you as you are getting ready for this. So Tuesday, I need you to have an idea. You and I are going to conference. I'll give you a direction, and then I'm going to have you build this based on what you want to do specifically for yourself. Okay? It's going to be exciting, guys, and we will talk to you later.